Dada Disneyland. Okay, so just a few different sections of this. There's kind of that main iconic riff and just like a little funk break and a couple bridges there, but I'll just play through each section right off the top here, just jam right through them real quick. Afterwards, I'll go back through and give you a little more of a guided walkthrough with some details for it. Before we get to all of that, do me a huge favor, hit that subscription button. It'd help out the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. All right, and no further ado, we got Disneyland. Okay, so there's this main riff here, and it's real fun, kind of just descending scale thing that happens here. For starters here, we're going to be hitting the open D string as we're just jamming through this, and essentially we're just moving positions on the G with that open D. Okay, and what you want to do is slide all the way up here to the 14. Okay, and we're going to hit that a few times. Okay, then we go 16 to 14, all right, all while hitting this open D with it. Okay, once more. So that position here, we got. All right, from there we shift down to the 12, hit that a few times. Okay, then we go 12, 11, 9, 7. Now we move to the next spot. We'll be going to 5 to 7 on the G and just kind of hang on that 7 for a few times. All right, and then we finish it down here by going 2, 4, couple times on the 4, back off to 2, open, and then back on just onto the 2. Okay, so it'd be. Alright, so fun little descaling thing. Let's try it slowly here. whole band comes in and we jam through that main riff a little bit. It does have a slight variation there at one point, like probably like the second or third time we go through it. Everything stays the same, but once we get to that 5 to 7 position on the G here, we go 5, couple 7s, and then we come down here and we hit, kind of bounce between this 6B and 5E together, and that 7G with the open D. We just kind of go between those a couple times. Alright. Just a little subtle variation that happens there if you want to throw that in. Okay, and once the verse starts, it kind of starts one way by just kind of holding on this D, and there isn't really a guitar that's strumming away on a D chord or anything, but if you want to throw in a D chord, that's cool. The bass is there, so it's kind of, guitar is more or less tacit for a couple of measures there on that D spot. So, and then what it does is the last couple measures, it just kind of does that first half of the main riff. Okay, it does that. All right, so let's just get a feel for it here. All right, and as the verse continues, the second half of it, then it shifts a little bit in the beginning. It'll do the D for a measure, and then it does a G for a measure. I don't know. They thought it would be cool to switch it like that. So it essentially would be something like this. Everything else stays the same. We just add that G at the second measure. Alright, and now we get to these little funk interlude sections. And basically, it's just shifting from an A spot to a G, and it's essentially doing an A7 suspended 4, and then just going to a regular A7. And we bounce between that, and then it'll do a G7 suspended 4 to a G7. And it's just a slight little, it's just like a fret difference that happens. So we play up here where we do 7s on the D and G, and do an 8 on the B. Okay, and we're just going to strum that about 4 times quickly, and then we move down to in a regular A7. So all we do for that is we take that 7 on the G and make it a 6. Everything else stays the same. 78 on the B. All right, and with that chord, we're just going to do a couple of times, just choppy, a little spaced out. Okay, come back to the suspended 4 a couple times, and then back to the A7 a couple times. Okay, so slowly it'd be something like this. Right, it's just kind of about getting the timing and the strumming on it, really, I suppose. And like I said, we're just going to switch from that A position to the G, so just take exactly what we did and move it down 2 frets. Okay, so now we're at 5s on the D and G with the 6B. And then all we're going to do, the strumming and the timing will stay the same. We're just going to, move the G from the 5 to the 4. And the 5D and the 6B stay the same. Alright, same thing we did here, just 2 frets lower. Alright, so let's get it up to speed. Okay, we're getting to this second interlude section, and just kind of like this chill F chord that gets arpeggiated. And you can go down with it, and then you can do up with it the next time. You know, just kind of, you can get a little bit of a effect on it too if you want, like some tremolo or something. Yeah, so just strum through this big bar chord F. We just bar the 1, 3 and 3 on the A and D, 2 on the G. Just let it ring a moment. And then we do a couple of quick G chords. And then start the next measure with a D and just let that D ring. Okay, it just happens pretty quick there. Right. And after each time we do that, the F to the couple G's to D, there's kind of this tail end riff that happens, and it'll switch after each time we go through. After the first time we go through, it does this, where we go 3 to 5 on the E, hit the 3A, 3 5 3 on the D, 5 3 on the A, come back and bend that E. Okay, just a quick little scale that happens. Alright, and then we'd go through the chord again. Second time, a variation of that same scale, 3 to 5 E, 3 on the A, and then we bounce between 3D, 5A, 3D, 5A to 3, and then to the 3 on the E. Slight difference there. Okay. The last time through, third time through, it's the same as that first one. Okay, and we get to this fourth time, it's the F. Quick little G bass notes on the 3 of the E. Alright, and then we reel off this bit where it's 2 on the A, 4 on the G for that little octave chord going on. Take that, slide it up to 4A, 6G, back down to the 2, 4, and then end with an open A, 2G. Alright, let's do this whole thing up to speed. Okay, to Abridge Section, everything kind of really mellows out. There's this our tacit measure, rest, and then a little bit of a guitar riff that just faintly comes in there. Okay, so we just rest a measure, and then we do this little bit, and this will happen 3 times, where we slide up to 5G, hit the 5B, okay, hit the 5G to 4, and then back to the 5B. Take the 4G, slide it to 2. Alright, and then like I said, we repeat that whole thing, the rest measure, and then the little riff. Repeat that 3 times. Right. After that, we just hit a G chord, let it ring. Okay, no big deal. Alright, now we're getting into the solo, and essentially, if you want, you could just bust out like a D minor pentatonic and just go bonkers with that scale. If you know, I'm sure that'd be just fine. If you want to stick to a little more closer what the recording's doing, it just plays around with it in some different voicings here, no big thing. So we'll be down here, and then we're going to work our way up high. Okay, so the initial bit, we'll be doing on the G string here, do a 2, 4, 2, 4, bend the 4 a couple times. Okay, 2, 4, 2, slide up to 3B, hold that a moment. We go 3, 1B, 2G, 3 on the D. Okay, come back to that 2, 4, 2, couple bends on the 4 of the G. 2, 4, 2. Alright, now we're going to come up higher. We go 10s on the G and B. We're going to do a couple of those to the 12 on the D, to 1 of the 10 on the B and G, back to 12 D, and just kind of bounce between those about, 4 times. Okay, something like that, and do about 4 times. Okay, move up here to 12 on the G. Alright, hold that a moment, bend it. Okay, we go 12, 10 on the E, 12, 10 on the B, 13, 10 on the E. So just a quick little... Alright, next section, still up here, we're going to do a couple bends on the 14 of the E, bend it once, give it a slow release, a little vibrato. Okay, off to 10 of the E, a little vibrato. Okay, bend the 12 of the G, 10B, 10E, do a 13B to 10B. Okay, 12, bend on the G, release to 10, 10D, bend the 12G, come off to 10. Okay, slide up to 14 of the G, 15B, 14G. Okay, now we're going to do a little walk down here where we go 15E, 14G, 14E, 14G, and then 13E. Okay, so... Alright, continuing on here, we do a 12, bend on the G, release it, come off to 10, 12D, do an 11 on the A to 12, 10 to 12D, 10G, vibrato, then we go 10, 11, 12D, alright, move it up, 12, 13, 14G, move that slightly up, to 13, 14, 15B, and then we come way high. We go all the way up to 20 on the E, to 19, to 17, slide that 17 down to 14. Okay, so let's just do this all slowly here. Alright, next section, up on the high E, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10B, we do 11G, 12D, 11G, 12G. Shift down here to slide up on the 8B with the 7E, go between that a few times. Okay, slide that up to 12B, 10E, go between those a couple times. Alright, and then we move up to these little chords, super high voice chords. It's essentially like the A7 suspended that we did in the funk interludes, all that, but we're just playing it really high and we're just going to shift it like that. Okay, so the way you want to do this is we're going to be at 19G, 20B, 22E, so super high. Alright, so try this, just like that. Okay, and we're going to strum away on that just like we would on the, the funk interlude sections, the A7 suspended 4 A7s, all that. But you don't really need to worry about shifting it one fret there. So hit that a few times. Okay, move it down to 17 G, 18 B, and 20 on the high E. Alright, we're just going to go between that. Alright, we finished it all off here. Repeating this little bit 4 times, where we're going to hit the open D, but we're going to do 14 G with the 13 B, and just hit it and give it some vibrato, and then we move off to 12s on the B and the G with the open D. Okay, we're just going to go between those quickly there 4 times. Alright, and we just finished all with a big descending scale. Bend on 13 of the E, come off to 10, 13B to 10, bend 12 of the G, release off to 10, 12, 10 D, 12, 11, 10 on the A, 13 E to 10. Thanks for checking out the video, everybody. Like it, share it, leave a comment. It's always good to hear from you. Do me a favor and hit the subscription button. I put out a video pretty frequent, so you don't want to miss out on that. Check out the links in the description box below. I have really cool links for tablature books, all the gear I use, t-shirts, fun stuff like that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.